So in this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about fear. And when I talk about fear, I want to be clear. I'm not talking about fears in all caps, right? I'm not talking about jumping out of an airplane or dealing with a potentially fatal illness. That is not to say that dealing with or confronting fears of that nature is not important. In fact, as a guy who feared for his own life when I was battling cancer, I know that taking on those fears can be powerful, can have a powerful effect on somebody's life. But I thought it would really be a more benefit to talk about maybe more mundane or day-to-day fears we have that maybe limit the things that we do with our life. Things like asking a certain person out, or seeking out a new job, or maybe applying for graduate school. Things like that. You can probably think of things that are in your life right now, fears that you have, things that you'd like to do, but fear holds you back. Now, I want to be clear too, when I talk about fear, I'm certainly not immune to it. I am starting on a new adventure, life coaching for lawyers who aren't happy, who are miserable. And I have fears that the business won't succeed. I have fears that, it will fail. You probably have similar fears or similar thoughts in your life. But let me tell you, obviously I'm going forward with this business full-throated. And this is kind of the advice that I want to purvey to you as well. And to do this, I want you to look at things in a couple of different ways. First of all, let's just start, if you haven't already, by you placing a fear into your head. Like, I'd really like to do blank. I'd like to ask this person out, or I'd like to apply for a new job. Whatever it might be, right? And I want you to think about that fear. And then really think about what that fear is. I mean, is it that, you're going to meet this person and you're going to go out and they're going to be crazy and slash your tires? Is it that you're going to meet this person and they're going to, you're going to wind up in a scene from Misery, that a job is going to reject you or a school is going to reject you? Whatever it is, you might have fears of things that could potentially happen. And my question to you is, how rational are those fears? I ask you to take a look at that. Now, it's not that it's not possible, right? I mean, I could go out for my morning run or my morning exercise and hurt myself. But it's not rational to believe that that's going to happen all the time, or that's a reason to stop doing what I'm doing. It's probably not rational for you, though possible, that a person that you want to date winds up being a crazy person, or that people are going to laugh at you or dismiss you because you applied for a particular job. Maybe your friends are going to laugh at you. Whatever those fears are they rational? Now, yes, they could come into effect. But what I'm talking about here, as I scratch my cheek, is the rationality of those fears. If they're not rational, why then would you give them so much power? I want you to think about that. This remote fear of, well, if I ride my bike down to the park and I could get run over or whatever. Think about how rational it is. The other thing I want you to think about, which has been helpful to me, some advice I got, was, so what? Let's kind of play out your fear, right? You go, maybe a more rational response, I'm using the dating a lot, is maybe you ask a person out and they reject you. They say no. So what? Say you apply for a job and your friends say, "Oh, what are you applying for that job for? You're never going to get it," and you don't. So what? Is that horrible? Is that going to end your life? And that was some advice I was recently given when it comes to my coaching practice. And at first it was kind of hard to digest, and then I realized, yeah, it's true. So what? If my coaching practice fails, it's on to the next adventure, as my Father's Day balloon floats behind me. It's on to the next adventure. It means that there's something else out there for me. In the same way that if you ask a person out and they're not receptive to it, that there's someone else out there for you. So I ask you, when you have those fears, I think you're wise to consider those two elements, those two factors. Because when you look at your fears that way, I think they become less powerful. And what we're inspired to do moves to the front seat, and the fears move to the back seat. And I think that's a better way to live. Have a great day.